Welcome to Hope with Jonathan podcast, where we share stories of hope. My name is Jonathan Traylor. I'm a 15-month kidney transplant recipient who faced a near-death experience back in July of 2019. I had a lot of different symptoms: chronic fatigue, swollen ankles, couldn't breathe very well, and really nauseated. And I stayed in the bed for days of what I thought was fighting the flu. No, it wasn't. It was complete kidney failure, guys. Stage 5 ESRD. Within a few days, they removed about 30 pounds of fluid, and I had to ride in a helicopter to get dialysis treatment to save my life. Listen, guys, we now try to educate people, inspire, and motivate through the power of sharing your warrior story. If you like stories like this, stay tuned. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Never let hope become a memory. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Hey guys, this is Jonathan, the host of the Hope with Jonathan podcast. And hey guys, Hope with Jonathan now has a website, www.hopewithjonathan.com, where you can go over and find out where to follow us on all of our social media links, our podcast, our YouTube channel, and much more. Again, guys, for more information on Hope with Jonathan, you can go to www.hopewithjonathan.com. Hey guys, welcome to Hope with Jonathan podcast, and I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. Hey guys, 16 months ago, I received the miracle gift of life of transplant, and now I'm a kidney transplant recipient, a very grateful kidney transplant recipient. And you know what? Because of my donor, I'm able to do things now that I wasn't able to do when I was on dialysis and things like that. So my life has been forever changed by my donor. You know what? Along the way, during my journey of my kidney disease and kidney failure diagnosis and near-death experience with kidney failure, along the way, guys, I had some bumps in the road and things that happened to me and different things like that. I developed a few tips and strategies along the way that really helped me while I was waiting on, the call for transplant. And notice how I was always believing, always waiting on that call. And I know a lot of you out there that may come across this podcast, maybe you're still waiting, maybe you're still believing for that miracle. And I really hope that you'll continue with your faith and continue with your strategy and continue to press forth until you get your miracle gift of life of transplant. But I wanted to share this podcast with you guys. Just a few tips and strategies. So three steps to keep you engaged within your kidney transplant journey and for you to stay ready. because you got to be ready. You got to be ready for that call in case that call comes, right? And it's going to come. I can warn you, it's going to come at a time where you're just not expecting it. This is exactly what happened to me. I was warned that it would it come at a time that I just wasn't even thinking about it. But needless to say, you got to be ready. You got to be mentally ready. You got to be physically ready. You got to be spiritually ready. You just got to be ready for it, right? I mean, in season, out of season. That's what the Bible says. We got to be ready in season or out of season. I think what that kind of means is just always being prepared for whatever in life may come your way. You just got to be ready, always on the lookout. Hope for the best, but you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared for things in life. And unfortunately for me, because of lack of education, I was not prepared for kidney failure. Kidney failure hit me like literally. I say this with all truth and belief in it. I literally got hit by a Mack truck by kidney failure, kidney disease. So it would have helped me out a whole lot if I would have had some tips and some education on all this stuff. But I kind of did everything backwards. So don't do like I did. I all of my team, all of my doctors that know my story, they literally told me I did everything backwards. But with all that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and get into this podcast really quickly. Really appreciate all the support for Hope with Jonathan. Thanks again, guys. You guys have been amazing over the course of 2021. It's been incredible. We started the year with 16 subscribers on YouTube, and it looks like we're going to finish right around 180 subscribers. So that's like a huge turnaround of support. You guys have been amazing. Man, what a blessing you guys have been. All of my supporters, everyone that listens to the podcast, everyone that watches the live interview shows over on YouTube. It's just, you guys have been just simply amazing. And thank you will never do it. Thank you will never express the gratitude that I have in my heart for all of my supporters. So again, God bless you guys. I really appreciate you. Thanks again for subscribing to Hope with Jonathan over on YouTube. But hey, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into this podcast. So we're going to start backwards, kind of like my story. We're going to start with number 3, and I would say that number 3 would be surround yourself with positive people. So surround yourself with positive people, and surround yourself with people that care about you, people that have your best interest at heart. You want to stay away from all forms of negativity. If you have an individual in your life that is causing you stress or pressure, or is not always talking in the best way about regarding your health, you kind of want to avoid those type of people. When you're fighting kidney failure, kidney disease, you need as much positivity as possible. You need some people that are going to be, I'm not saying not be real with you now. You need people that's going to tell you the truth and be honest with you. But people that are just always negative and always have something, something to say, so to speak, or make you feel bad, make you belittle you, make you feel like, it's just never going to work out for you. You need to stay away from those people. It just creates a toxic environment, right? And so you want to stay away from toxic people. You want to stay away from people that don't have your best interest. You want to stay away from people that are negative all the time. Because right now, what you're going through, what your experiences, it's considered to be, a scary, traumatic event. I mean, you're going through kidney disease, a diagnosis of kidney disease. They start throwing all these medical terms at you. And it could be quite overwhelming and frightening. So you definitely want to have some people that are in your corner, going to give you some positive, uplifting, messages every day. They're going to speak life into you, speak positivity into your situation. And, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that you don't need people to tell you the truth, because truth is different than being belittling to you or always speaking negative. And you guys know exactly what I'm saying. Stay away from toxic people, okay? Separate yourself, whatever you need to do to get away from that type of environment. Make it comfortable for you, because you need comfortable situations to be in, especially when you're end up on possibly dialysis. There's going to be rough days that you're going to come home from treatment. You're going to have a bad day or bad treatment, or maybe you got your lab report back and your labs don't look so great, or maybe there's a bump in the road. Some blood pressure wasn't going too good. Dialysis day. All the kidney warriors out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So definitely want to separate yourself from toxic environment. So we're gonna go ahead and go into step number 2, and number 2 is gonna be following a healthy diet and exercise regimen. Following a healthy diet and exercise regimen. I didn't do so good at this, guys. My first 40 years of life. As a matter of fact, my first 41 years of life, I pretty much ate what I wanted, did what I wanted. Was always a big, strong guy. I avoided doctors. I did not like doctors. Had white coat syndrome. Of course, now that's all changed. Doctors and nurses are now my friends. And it's kind of, it's kind of the way life works, right? It's kind of funny now looking back on it. I had such a fear of even just going in and doing blood work. It's just a whole different experience for me. It just caused me such anxiety and fear, because I always knew in the back of my mind that there was something wrong with my health, and I knew it. But I just wasn't willing to make those adjustments and go in and get the blood work done and things like that. And that's why ultimately my diabetes got way out of control. My hypertension got way out of control, and then I suffered a near-death experience with kidney failure because of this. Had I went in and had the simple blood test, urinalysis, I could have found out my kidneys were not functioning well. Could have been probably avoided or prolonged the near-death experience. But needless to say, diet and exercise play a huge part with your health, and especially being transplant ready. We covered the last step. That was more of the mental side, but this is more of the physical side of things. You really want to engage in a renal diet, and what you need to do is, and in no way, shape, or form is this a diagnosis or a prescription, but really what you want to do is consult with a dietitian, and if you can, a renal dietitian. Okay. You want to consult with them and talk with them about the do's and don'ts, and things that you can have, things that you can't have. And there are situations for each patient that are a little bit different depending upon their potassium levels. And because some patients have low potassium, so they actually need potassium. But a lot of us kidney patients, because when your kidneys don't work, are not functioning very well, or not at all, you have no way of expelling, waste, and the types of things that are involved with the waste. Of course, is the phosphorus in the food, the potassium, things like that. We have no way of getting rid of those that are normally expelled through the urine, and so we have to, follow this special diet called the renal diet to make sure that we avoid those type of foods, so that we don't get a bunch of toxins build up into our blood, become very toxic and dangerous to us. It could cause you, fluid buildup, fluid overload, which ultimately can shut down your lungs and heart, things like that. So I actually had a scare with that early on, because they weren't pulling enough fluid off of me. Believe it or not, in the hospital, during my ICU stay, 2 week stay in the hospital, they were pulling off 2 and 3 kilo every time I went. But for some reason, when I went into the in-center here, they started me off with about 1 kilo. And I kept telling them, hey, they were taking 2 and 3 off, in the hospital. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted to start with just 1 kilo and see how I feel. And ultimately, doing that, ultimately, I was taking in too much fluid, and I ended up back in the hospital again with a really, really bad scare. And ultimately, what they found out was that my in-center team was not taking enough fluid off of me. And so, because of that, I ended up back in the hospital. But fluid overload and things like that, and toxins can overload on you really quickly when your kidneys are not working very well. So you definitely want to stay engaged with the dietitian, and you want to definitely follow that renal diet as closely as you can. You know, Google is your friend, so to speak, if you can do the research and find proper outlets on the internet. I would stay away from certain websites without naming them here on the podcast, uh, only because they're so direct that, according to some, I shouldn't even be sitting uh, here doing this podcast. So, there's some websites out there that will really give you a real direct answer that is so analytical, and medical terminology is so you just can't really break it down into layman's terms. So you struggle with understanding it. So stick with speaking with your dietitian, if you can, a renal dietitian. You can find a lot of healthy information online about these type of subjects, renal diets, proper foods. I remember when I was first diagnosed, we actually spent about 2 or 3 hours in the grocery store here in Texas. We have a great store called HEB. And we literally went up and down aisles, and we were like in the store for like 2 hours, literally. And the whole thing is being mindful of the foods, reading your labels. Fresh is best. So anytime you can eat fresh vegetables, fresh foods, nothing that's in like a box or a can or a bag. I mean, canned goods are okay, but you gotta watch the preservatives that they put in those cans. I mean, sometimes common sense goes a long way with this, because you gotta think about it like canned meat, so to speak. Next time you get a chance, take a look at canned meat, like for chili, like chili meat. I've seen a can of chili meat that had over 1,000 milligrams of sodium in it, and then you got to think about it. How in the world can cooked meat survive in a can and not go bad? What is in it that keeps it fresh? Obviously, there's chemicals in this types of foods and GMOs and all this type of stuff. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your kidneys, and it's definitely not healthy for you. And I do not suggest that you ingest this type of food. And so, like I said, doing research, talking with your renal dietitian, talking with a dietitian, um, you know, finding the proper outlets on the internet that can really give you some great information. Of course, you can always look at, people, organizations like AAKP. You can refer to them. You can refer to AKF, American Kidney Fund. You can always go to the NKF2 website, National Kidney Foundation, and they have different outlets for this and different information. AAKP, American Association of Kidney Patients, has a lot of great information as well. But I already mentioned them. But I'm an ambassador for all three, so I had to get them in there. They're all three great. They all three serve and kind of do their own little separate thing in the community. But definitely wanted to mention them. Those are great outlets that you can reach out to and definitely get some great info. Exercise. So exercise is a great way to, not only to keep your body and your heart in shape. We talked about, with kidney patients, the next thing usually to go is the heart, the cardiovascular system. So, you definitely want to keep that cardiovascular system healthy. If your kidneys are not doing well, maybe you've just been recently diagnosed, maybe you're not on dialysis yet. If you are on dialysis, it's definitely important that you're doing some sort of exercise routine. But like if you've just been recently diagnosed and you don't already know, like the next thing usually to affect in your body from the kidneys is usually the next step is your heart. So, your cardiovascular health is very important. You definitely want to develop some form of exercise. Like I said, guys, I'm not a pro at this. I'm no way a master at this. I'm not speaking from like 20 years experience. I'm just giving you guys some tips that help me get me where I was, kidney transplant ready, and where I was in, good, great enough shape to where I could be ready when that call came for transplant. And I made some major changes. Um, I adhered to the renal diet quickly. We talked about staying away from negative people, toxic people. I separated myself from a lot of friends and family. As a matter of fact, it kind of seemed like, sadly, it just sort of seemed like after my diagnosis that some of my friends and family kind of separated themselves as well. And for whatever, I'm not bitter or angry about it, but it just seemed like they kind of pushed away a little bit, and I could tell. And maybe they were just didn't know what to say, and I don't judge them for that, but sometimes it happens. It happens in life. But to get back to the exercise, so if you're wanting to know what type of exercise to do, um, in no way, shape, or form, like I said, am I a athletic trainer or anything like that. I'm just telling you what worked for me, and I can only share my experience, my story. So, in no way, shape, or form am I telling you to join a gym and start lifting like Arnold. That's not what I'm telling you to do. But what I am telling you to do is develop some form of walking routine. I just feel like walking is a great form of exercise. Not only is it great for the heart, but it's also great for the mind. If you're battling kidney disease, kidney failure, you're going through a lot. It's incredible. You're going to have to overcome a lot of adversity, a lot of negative thinking. Depression can play a huge part, things like that. So, and if you've already battled that before kidney failure, then you already know that it's probably going to increase and get worse because, honestly, kidney failure, kidney disease, it's heavy, it's deep, and there's a lot that goes with it. So, walking can be a great form of exercise to get your mind off of things. Sometimes just getting out of the house, getting out of the four walls. And I just gotta be honest with you. I don't care if you start with half a mile, because that's where I started. I remember when I first started walking, I could barely walk about a quarter of a mile. I was out of breath. And I did that for probably about a week. And we're talking about this is pre-kidney failure. And I did a quarter of a mile, and then I eventually got myself to a point where I could do a half a mile. And I really thought I was doing something. I really thought I was doing something. I thought, man, you know what? I've really accomplished something. I'm actually walking half a mile. And then I realized that I probably needed to push myself a little bit more. And eventually I got myself to a mile. I really felt so great about myself that I was so excited to be able to accomplish that because it took me a while. I mean, listen, guys, at one time I was 350 pounds. I'm 6 foot, about a 52 shoulder width. I was always a big built guy. Everywhere I went, kind of like my nickname. Of course, my last name's Traylor. So I was always kind of known as a, hey, big guy. I was always that guy. So anytime somebody needed help lifting something or doing something, moving, those type of things. Hey, we just bought a piece of furniture. Can you come help us? That was me. Because of me, I always had strength, big guy, big built. And obviously when they look at you, they think immediately, hey, he could probably lift a lot. And I did. I did it, and I did it gladly. But needless to say, walking has become such a part of my routine now that I don't even think about it. As a matter of fact, if I don't walk, my mind and body start screaming at me saying something's wrong. You need to do something. And I've developed such a routine. I love it. I just love it because of the benefits of it. Not only am I getting physical exercise, but like I said, there's a mental side of it, and you know what? There is a spiritual side of it. When I walk, I listen to music, and the music that I play sometimes is inspirational. Sometimes I listen to podcasts that are encouraging, things that are educational. A lot of them are kidney disease podcasts, and they speak to me. They really do. They speak to my heart. And sometimes when you're out and about and you just hear the birds singing and the wind blowing, and you can hear the trees, you see the trees, the nature. And I'm kind of going a little deep for you guys, but honestly, guys, it really it works wonders for your mental side, for your mental aspect. It really it can really give you a whole nother perspective on things. Just getting out of the house and kind of forgetting about, oh man, I gotta go do dialysis tomorrow. Oh man, I gotta go see the doctor tomorrow. You know what? Listen, take you a break, get out of the house, 20, 30 minutes, just go take you a walk and just breathe. Just breathe. And I guarantee you, when you get back, your whole mind's it's gonna clear. You're gonna feel a little bit better about things. You're gonna have a whole new perspective, and it's gonna help you. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. This is what happened for me. And like I said, I can only share my story, but honestly, and now you guys, I'm walking like every time I walk. I don't walk 5 miles every time I walk, but I can walk up to like 5 miles. That's 5 miles, kind of like my max. I have pushed it before and did like a 7 mile day, where I've actually went to a park, and our park here has like a really long, kind of a track that it's scenic, and it goes throughout the park, and it goes pretty long. I walked. I did it, and it was like a 7 mile day. I was pretty exhausted from that actually, but I'm not recommending that at all. Like I said, guys, I started with half a mile. I would say, 20, 30 minutes, you should easily get at least a mile in a day. Like I said, guys, within an hour now, I've been walking now for about 2.5, 3 years probably. So I can now, walk a 2, 3 mile with no problem. I kind of feel like I'm letting myself down if I don't do more. And your body, what happens is your body gets accustomed. After you start, getting into your routine, your body gets accustomed to this, and you know what, your heart will thank you. So with that being said, guys, that's step two is like following the renal diet, incorporating a healthy diet, healthy routine, um, exercise routine, and staying away from toxic people. That was number three. Number two, following a healthy diet, renal diet, or following a healthy exercise regimen. And so my number one tip for you guys before we close out this podcast would be staying engaged with your team. Staying engaged with your medical team. So staying engaged with your medical team is huge. Like, what I mean by that is, you're going to be going to every one of your doctor's appointments. You're going to be talking with your doctors about any issues or questions or any problems. If you're on dialysis, you're not missing any dialysis treatments whatsoever, because it's very crucial for you to not miss any dialysis treatments. Without going to those dialysis treatments, you're not going to get the opportunity to get the fluid and toxins off of your body. That can become a very dangerous situation. We are kind of already talked a little bit about fluid and toxin overload, which can be really, really scary. It can, land you in the hospital and even, shut your organs down. So you definitely need to think about that for sure before you ever, decide to skip a treatment. I'm a huge advocate for home dialysis because I did home hemodialysis, which is a podcast for a whole different another time. But because of that, I felt a lot more comfortable about my lifestyle and things I could do, because I knew I was had access to getting a treatment at any given time. Versus being in center, you always have to, don't miss your chair time, can't be late, got to be on time, and you're only getting 3 treatments a week. So for me, it was very crucial for me to be able to stay on top of my labs and keep everything straight. KT over V needed to be better, and you know what? As soon as I switched to home hemo, everything improved. I got to a point with home dialysis that my labs looked so well, my body responded to the treatment that I was receiving, that I didn't even look like a kidney patient. My nephrologist told me, said, I wouldn't even know you're on dialysis if you didn't tell me, if I didn't know already. So that's how incredible, impactful home dialysis was for me. But like I said, guys, staying engaged with your team. if you've got like an issue and you're going to have to miss a doctor's appointment, you know what? You're going to reschedule that doctor's appointment as soon as possible. Like I said, guys, these are tips and things that I did to stay transplant ready. Um, know your medications as well. Know your medication. This is all about staying engaged with your team. So if your team comes to you and asks you a question about your medications you're on, you can't be telling them, well, I'm on a green pill, I'm on a red pill, I'm on a yellow pill, because each pill, is manufactured by different companies. They all use different colors, different sizes, and dimensions, and logos, and each one are just different. So there's no way that a doctor is going to know by you telling them, well, I'm on a yellow pill. You got to know the name. You need to know the milligram. You got to know how many times a day you're taking it. Whoever prescribed you the medication, you definitely want to memorize all that stuff. And if you have a problem memorizing all that, it's an easy thing to do. You can go into your phone and add it to your notes. And I use my notes a lot, and it's a great way to stay on top of staying, organized and staying engaged with your team. That way, if your team asks you, well, what blood pressure medication you're on? Oh, okay. Well, I'm on nifedipine, or I'm on metoprolol, or I'm on losartan, and I take 25 milligrams, and I take that twice a day. It's going to work better for you and your team. Your team's going to know, hey, you know what? That patient's engaged. They're really trying to, keep themselves healthy, and it's just going to be a better fit for you and your team, and overall, it's going to work great for your overall health. So staying engaged with your team. Like I said, if you have questions, you're always engaging in questions. I don't think there's a dumb question or a stupid question when it's coming regarding your health. So if you got a question about your health, please, by all means, ask away. And if your doctor doesn't have time for you to answer your questions, then I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. You probably should get a second opinion. Go find you another doctor, because when it's coming to your health, any there's no such thing as a dumb question. And doctors out there should definitely be taking the time to answer as many questions as you would have, especially when you're talking about something like kidney failure. I know when I got diagnosed, I had a ton of questions, and I was just great. The doctors were gracious enough to talk with me and educate me on things. So yeah, you just definitely want to stay engaged with your team. Definitely don't want to be missing doctor's appointments. Know your medications. Utilize as many tools as you can, such as like your phone, technology, things like that. Reminders. Right now for my alarms and stuff, like on my phone, I'm using alarms for my medications. Is it a foolproof plan? No, it's not foolproof, but it works incredibly for me. It's been very beneficial. Right now, I'm a kidney transplant recipient, so for me, it's vital for me to take my immune suppressants every 12 hours. And so, I've got my phone, I've got my alarm set. As a matter of fact, I've got a 15-minute interval of a backup alarm, just in case. Because these medications are important. No matter where I'm at, what I'm doing, when that alarm goes off, guess what? It's time for me to take my medication, and it just works. It's incredible. So technology can be your friend, and it can help you out with your medical care. It's definitely a huge benefit. But yeah, guys, stay engaged with your team. Always staying on top of all these type of things. Appointments, medications, things like that. Like also, when I was talking about using technology, so like if you're diabetic, hypertensive, you definitely want to take your readings. I usually take my readings in the morning, and I log them in my phone. I actually utilize the Apple. My Apple iPhone has a health app. I'm actually logging my sugars there. I log my blood pressure readings there, my temperature, my weight, all those things. I log it all in my phone. That way I have it in case I need it. These are just tips. Like I said, guys, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm not giving you guys a diagnosis. I'm just trying to share some helpful tips and helpful ideals, helpful things that really help me to be kidney transplant ready. And listen, guys, I really hope that these tips have been beneficial to you. I hope this podcast, I hope you found it to be beneficial to you. Um, I really, really appreciate the support again. I really hope that 2022 is going to be an amazing year for those of you that have been waiting on the transplant list. I really am praying and believing for you guys that, you know, uh, eventually, that call is going to come. But until then, guys, you gotta, stay engaged with your team. Implement that renal diet as across the board as much as you can. Uh, Incorporate an exercise routine as well. As part of that overall health, and then staying away from negative, toxic people. Surround yourself with positivity. And I'm going to include a little bit on that just right quickly. Find yourself a support group, some people that you can talk to, people you can share. It doesn't necessarily have to be friends or family. It could be your local community, church, hospital. It could be an outside resource, maybe social media. Find you a support group on social media. Facebook has a lot of different groups, and also like people that meet by Zoom. I know Kidney Solutions has a great support group that they meet. I know Jim Benson with Transplant Journeys. I think they meet once a month. So they have support groups. And they'll invite people. They'll send you the link. You jump on. You talk with others that are going through this, similar situations. It's a great format. It's a great way to find support. Because support, let's just face it, guys, support is crucial when you're battling a chronic illness such as kidney disease. But again, guys, really hope you guys found something beneficial out of this podcast. I wish you guys blessings in the year 2022. You know what, guys? God bless you guys. Believe it or not, a lot of you guys don't realize this, but Jonathan Traylor, I pray for you guys. I really believe for you guys that great things are going to happen. And, in 2021, a lot of, especially, toward the end, it seemed like a lot of people just right after the other, it seemed like people were getting their kidney transplants and, receiving their kidneys. And I was amazed by it. And I really hope that this carries over and that, we just need to continue to start or keep talking about kidney disease. Uncle Jim, I've heard him say this before. He says we keep talking until they listen, and he's talking about just people in general, like people out in the world. Um, Whether it be government or just people in the world, we just keep talking about it until people listen. And we just gotta really continue to push advocacy for kidney disease, organ donation, and developments in dialysis and development in kidney transplant. Yeah, our system isn't perfect, but you know what? We have some great developments that we've seen happen in 2021 with the Kidney X, the bio kidney. And then, guys, we've seen, Dr. Robert Montgomery with the xeno transplantation of the pig kidney, and it actually worked, which is, exciting. Of course, that was done on a cadaver body, but it doesn't matter. They did see the fact that it looked like it was, it actually worked and turned pink and all that. So that's exciting. All these new developments are exciting. And so I just really hope that all this energy, all this positive energy just continue to spill over into 2022. And I pray blessings upon you guys, and continue to believe in the power of hope, because that's what I believed in. And I used to just sit there in a dialysis chair, just speak things into existence. Just God, I know that I'm going through this for a reason, and I know that you're going to help me. I know you're going to carry me through. I know I know this is happening to me for a reason, and I know you're going to carry me through. And I know, God, that eventually it's going to happen. I know I'm going to get this kidney. And you know what? It happened for me. And I now try to share these podcasts and interviews and things like this to help try to inspire and educate and motivate other people just like you. But listen, guys, Happy New Year to you guys. Appreciate all the support for Hope with Jonathan and the podcast and our live show. And if you haven't already gone over and hit the subscribe button, it's completely free. There's no charge at it whatsoever. It's completely free kidney content over on YouTube, Hope with Jonathan. Also, guys, you can check us out at hopewithjonathan.com. We have a website. You can actually listen to our podcast over there. You can stream live interviews. We sell merch over there. You can also support us over there if you feel led to. But listen, guys, God bless you guys. Stay safe out there. Remember to spread love. And remember to take care of your kidneys. God bless. This is Jonathan. Hey guys, Jonathan here. Guys, listen, we have a brand new podcast coming out produced by Hope Media Productions called Hope Stories Podcast. Let me tell you a little bit more. We wanted to give a platform for anybody to come on and share their story, a message of hope. Whether you've been through a weight loss journey, maybe you faced drug addiction and you beat that. Maybe you faced a near-death experience like I did with kidney disease. Maybe you went through organ failure. Maybe you had to get a liver transplant, or possibly you've been through a divorce. Or maybe you really faced some real hardship and went through a traumatic experience. We'd like to give you an opportunity to share your story. So if you like stories like that, people that have beat the odds and overcome great obstacles in life, you'll definitely want to check out Hope Stories Podcast, now streaming everywhere, including YouTube. Check out Hope Stories Podcast.